And welcome to our Born CEO Leadership Academy. This is Monday Night Mentoring with Born CEO Leadership Academy. I'm honored to be the host, Coach Fard Bell, Sacramento, California, and actually joining you all from Fresno, California today. Came out here expanding my business, my Legal Shield business, and meeting some incredible people, getting some things going. We actually have a weekly networking event launching on Wednesday nights, the Wednesday after next here in Fresno. So who do you know in Fresno, California, the center of California, and the fifth largest city in California? Did you know that? Fifth largest, over 1 million people here in Fresno. Anyway, I'm super excited about tonight's topic, which is 5 keys to developing your dream team. 5 keys to developing your dream team. Why is this topic important? Well, some of us, all of us have a dream, a vision. As a leader, as a born CEO, whether you're clear on your vision or you're getting clear on your vision, there's something in this world that we're called to do, something you feel passionate about doing, something you want to achieve, an impact that you want to make, a difference that you want to make, a nonprofit that you want to start, a ministry, a for-profit business. Maybe you're building a network marketing team. Maybe you're building an agency or an insurance. Maybe you're just building whatever kind of team that you're building. There's a level of development that is significant to the success of any organization. And as leaders, we learn that our organization will rise and fall on the level of development that our team members have. And one of my favorite mentors I've spent quite an amount of time with, I've invested a lot of money to learn from, is the great John C. Maxwell, who's got some of the best things I've ever studied on developing and leading other people. And what I love about his approach to leadership is that he teaches on the type of authentic leadership that works when you don't have a paycheck hovering over somebody's head, that you don't have the leverage over a person to say, hey, do this or you're fired. That's not a boss. That's not a leader. A leader doesn't say do this or you're fired. That's what a boss may say. And it doesn't necessarily make that boss an effective leader because people aren't doing things because they're inspired to do it. They're doing it because I'm going to lose my job if I don't do it. Yeah. So that doesn't quite require the type of authentic leadership and influence that John C. Maxwell teaches. If you can say do it or you're fired, or there's something you can take away from people in order for them to do it, that doesn't necessarily make us a great leader. It may make us a boss, but it doesn't reveal our leadership development. So that was one of the breakthroughs for me as I started to build a dream team around my dream. And I discovered something along the way I'm going to share tonight. 5 keys to developing your dream team. But one of the principles John C. Maxwell teaches about is called the law of the inner circle. And that principle is that a leader will only go as far as the leaders can take them within their inner circle. So the stronger the people in your inner circle grow, and the more influential and impactful they are, the more development that they have, the further you'll go as a leader, the further the vision will be carried out, the further the organization will grow. So people development is a very important part of going to the next level, growing to the next level. So tonight's topic will reveal a lot of insight that was really helpful and is really helpful for me when it comes to developing people, starting with myself. Developing myself to the next level. developing those around me to their next level. And some people don't want to take the time to develop others. But here's what I'll say about that. Those who do become very, very valuable in the marketplace, extremely valuable in the kingdom of God, extremely valuable as community leaders. Those who are willing to take the time to invest in others, develop others, understand the process of developing others, and actually be willing to develop others, make an impact that is residual, an impact that can be everlasting. The impact in people, a generational impact, and you are invaluable to an organization because many people are not willing to take the time to invest in others, to develop others, to get better at it. So people either come ready or they're not. The other value of this topic is if you're willing to learn how to develop people more effectively, you can write your own ticket. Meaning, while you're always looking for the best talent, the best people who are already developed, which I highly recommend, find people who have already invested in themselves, and people, the strongest people you can find, the best people you can find. But it's a powerful thing when, in addition to that, you know how to develop people yourself, or at least you know the process of people development so that you can recommend the right resources, the right environment to those who need more development to go further faster. So even if you're running with the runners that are ready to run already, the people who come pre-developed, the people who are ready to fly with you, you still have resources for those who may need a little more development along the way. And I'm so grateful for the network marketing industry, the space, the career path, because it taught me so much about people development. You're taking people from every background and every walk of life and developing them into successful entrepreneurs. That's not an easy thing to do. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes love. And I'm so grateful that there were people who were willing to do that for me in my journey. And I'm grateful to have an opportunity to do that for others and help people become free and break through in the process. And also create time and financial freedom at the same time. So let's jump into these five keys to developing your dream team. And doesn't that just make you smile, the idea of having your dream team in place? It makes me smile. That dream team, like, wow. It should cause you to take a deep breath. Like, just take a deep breath. I don't have to do it all by myself. I've got my dream team in place. I don't have to know everything. I've got my dream team in place. I don't have to be good at every single aspect of my business, of my organization. I'm not supposed to be. There are other people who are good at other things. I just need the right people on my dream team. And so it's a breath of fresh air, the idea of having your dream team in place, but then to know how to take your dream team to the next level is a whole nother level in itself. All right, so let's go right into it. These 5 keys to developing your dream team, I learned from one of the greats, the great Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N as in Nancy. For those who aren't familiar with the great Jim Rohn, I'm telling you, one of the best days of my life was the day I got to sit in a seminar with about 30 of the people I was developing on my dream team. And we took a road trip, probably several hours. We rented a van and we got to drive July of 2002. and we spent the day with the great Jim Rohn, and it was life-changing. And for those who are familiar with Jim Rohn, you're probably smiling right now because you already know, just listening to his audios and the YouTubes and the podcasts, life-changing. But to spend a day in his presence, soaking up the wisdom and the way that he so profoundly put things, oh my gosh. And then to look to my left and look to my right and see some of my key team members there soaking it up at the same time. Oh, in fact, July, August, September, October, November, that was 4 months before I was able to break free from corporate America and retire at the age of 22 years old. And the great Jim Rohn was a big part of that foundation. In fact, he has an audio program I recommend called Challenge to Succeed. Challenge to Succeed. It was the best $39 I'd ever invested. And when I think about life change and transformation and people development, one of the best programs that I've ever experienced or would recommend for somebody who's ready to change their life in any area of life, financially, health, relationships, fitness, you name it, any area of life. He just has a way of breaking down life change like I've never heard before. And that program, Challenge to Succeed, is probably one of the most transformational programs I've ever experienced besides the Bible itself. Quite an endorsement, huh? If you don't have it in your library, highly recommend you get it. If you're one of my students or coaching clients or team members, you already have access to it in one of our leadership libraries. But take advantage of it. You might even find it on YouTube for free. So he taught a framework that many have probably heard before, but when it clicked for me one day, I realized a major key to people development that a lot of people miss. And here's one of the problems that I've seen. How many of you have ever been frustrated? You've ever felt frustrated with a person? And you're like, this is a grown person. Why should I have to explain this thing to them again? This is a grown person. What in the world? What in the adult daycare center is this? And maybe you've ever tried to correct somebody's behavior or activity. Brene Brown said, don't take that class. I wouldn't sign up for that class, right? And for those not familiar with Jim Rohn, that's an inside joke. You'll hear his voice inflection. And one of the things he said is that to learn how to turn frustration into fascination. But when we try to correct somebody's behavior, for example, in my Legal Shield business, a lot of what I've learned, I grew up in Legal Shield from 19 years old, just turning 20. I'm 44 right now, 2024. And man, I've been surrounded by some of the greatest mentors. It was through Legal Shield that I got to meet many of the people that we read about. What kind of adult daycare? That's right, Ms. Abraham. But a lot of the leaders we read about, I've gotten a chance to meet and spend time with because of my affiliation with Legal Shield. And the people think it's been about the amazing cause of equal access to justice. That's definitely been a part of it. The vision that I see for this country, North America, is going to have legal coverage is going to become just as normal as automobile coverage, medical coverage, and life insurance. I saw that big picture. That's a part of it. The financial freedom, the time freedom, the opportunity for growth, all that's been a part of it. But one of the biggest invisible benefits that have kept me around are the amazing relationships and the mentors that I've been able to meet. I mean, from Jack Canfield to John C. Maxwell to the so many greats, Jim Rohn and Robert Kiyosaki. And I could go on and on and on. That's come through that relationship. So I always recommend people find a great network marketing company, even if it's not for the business opportunity, so to speak, the best personal development and entrepreneurial development I've ever seen, period. And I'm a believer. I'm a kingdom citizen. I'm an ambassador for the kingdom of God. And a part of stepping into our true identity as a citizen of God's kingdom is understanding that we are royalty. God is king, king of kings. We are the king that he's the king of, and kings don't work for money. Queens don't work for money. We manage assets. We manage the king's resources, and we manage them so well that abundance just continues to come. In fact, abundance follows good management. I can look at my life and I can see specific areas where I managed well and things started to multiply. And on the flip side, I can look at areas of my life, some things I'm still cleaning up because of my own mismanagement of resources. So anyway, I say all that to say, people development is major. And what Jim Rohn shared revealed something to me. When you try to correct somebody's behavior, like in my legal shield business, maybe I'm mentoring somebody and or you're in sales or marketing or recruiting or whatever it is. Success is a numbers game. Big part of success is numbers, a ratio. You know, maybe you have to present your idea to 10 people before one of them accepts it. You might have to present your proposal to 30 banks before one of them gives you the funding that you're looking for. Success is a numbers game. So, for example, if somebody's not doing the numbers or not doing enough of them, if you correct the behavior, this is an analogy I learned from the great T. Harv Eker. It's like, imagine you're typing something on your computer and there's a typo. Like maybe you're typing the word freedom on your computer because you're going after freedom, right? Or you're teaching somebody how to become free, how to create freedom in their life, time freedom, financial freedom. So you type the word freedom, but you leave out one of the E's. So there's a typo, and then you hit print. The paper what's printed on that paper is going to have the typo. So here's what most people do when it comes to correcting a typo, and it's going to sound silly. They will take the paper, the printout, and add the extra E for freedom, and then they hit print again on the computer. Now, what's wrong with that picture? Well, what's wrong with the picture is, even though you changed the outcome on the paper printout, you still didn't fix it in the computer. So when you hit print again, it's going to keep printing the same outcome with the exact same typo on it. So you go, wait a minute, come on now. All right, let me erase it. Let me use whiteout this time and write the whole word freedom on the paper all over again. And then you hit print and it still prints out the typo. Now, some of you are thinking that sounds so silly. Why would you keep doing that? But that's exactly what we do when we try to correct people's behavior without correcting what's behind the behavior. It's the same thing we do to ourselves when we say, man, I should be doing this by now. I know better. I should be doing better. And we expect ourselves to do something different without fixing what's behind that behavior. What's behind the activity or the inactivity. Have you ever tried to get yourself to do something that you knew you should do, you wanted to do? Like, you know, eat an apple a day, take a walk around the block, go to the gym, drink more water, say I love you more, make deposits. Little simple things that we can do. Isn't that profound, Coach Deb? Little simple things that we can do to change our lives. If we just do these simple little things every day, we'll look up in a year and our entire life will be different. That's one thing that Jim Rohn teaches us, is that it's not about these major drastic changes in life. Sometimes if we just do the little easy things consistently over time, we'll look up in a year, 2 years, 3 years, and our entire life is different. In fact, I learned from Jim Rohn that the choices that we've made or neglected to make over the last 5 years have added up to how our lifestyle is today. Somebody say ouch for me in the chat. Ouch. In some areas, it's like, wow, okay, that's great. That's why things are going well in this particular area of my life. When I look at the choices that I've made over the last 5 years, they've added up to where I am in that area of life. And then there's other areas I'm like, how did I get here? Oh, let's look back at the choices that I've made or neglected to make over the last 5 years of my life. So in my development journey, there are some things that have added up and taken me where I wanted to go, and there's other things that haven't added up that have taken me where I don't want to go. And Jim Rohn teaches how to turn it all around. But he breaks down how it's not always these big complicated things. It's the little things. He says what's easy to do is just as easy not to do. It's easy to eat an apple a day. In fact, I'm going to have my apple shortly. Look, boom. Drink more water, right? Walk around the block. Make those emotional deposits. The little simple things. Save a little bit. Reduce some bad expenses, right? Invest a little. Give more. But how do we get ourselves to do those behaviors that we haven't been able to get ourselves to do? Anybody have something in your life you're like, I know what to do. It's actually doable. It's not that hard. And if I just do it every day, things will be better for me 3 months from now, 9 months from now, a year from now, but you hadn't figured out how to get yourself to do it yet. I know I'm not the only one. So here's where all this I'm setting up for these 5 keys. Because you may have heard the 5 keys, but I want to make sure you hear it from a different context tonight. And understand that if we try to correct the behavior of ourselves or someone else without correcting what's behind the behavior, it's just as silly as printing out a typo, changing what's on the paper, and hitting print again, expecting it to be fixed, even though we didn't fix what we programmed into the computer. So now, finally, Coach, what are these 5 keys to developing your dream team? Jim Rohn calls them the 5 major pieces to the life puzzle. One of the few books he ever wrote is called The 5 Major Pieces to the Life Puzzle. A huge part of the Challenge to Succeed seminar that you can find on YouTube or audio, MP3, is built on that foundation, that framework called the 5 major pieces of the life puzzle. Some of you have heard the concept of the slight edge philosophy of the simple things that compound over time. All of that's built on this same foundation of the 5 major pieces of the life puzzle. It's a must read, a must listen, a must study, life-changing. You can take charge of any area of your life with these 5 major pieces. You can help someone else transform their life, a loved one, a team member, with these 5 major pieces of the life puzzle. So here are the 5 major pieces, and each one leads to the next one. It is a formula for people development. So the first piece is philosophy. Philosophy. Your beliefs and thoughts make up your philosophy. Beliefs and thoughts. What you believe and how you think make up your philosophy. The second piece to the life puzzle is attitude. Attitude. This is the emotional part. And somebody keeps unmuting, so if we can check our phones and make sure we stay muted, unless you're chiming in. Okay, let me mute it. So attitude, this is the emotional part. How you feel about your beliefs and thoughts. I'm gonna make a couple co-hosts here to assist me.
I'm here for the coach. If you want me co-host, I'm here.
Thank you, Maddie. Appreciate you. So attitude is the emotional part. Like, okay, I have this belief and I have this thought. The attitude part is how you feel about it. Like, how strong are your emotions about that thought or that belief? Have you ever believed something before and then you found out later on that it wasn't even true? But you believed it so much, you had emotions around it, and it affected your behavior? That's this breakdown here. Very important breakdown to understand. Oh, okay. So it starts with certain beliefs and thoughts, and a lot of our beliefs and thoughts were given to us. We picked it up from somebody else before we ever evaluated the beliefs, and that's why now, I don't believe everything I believe. Like I think about my beliefs. I think about my thoughts. I challenge some of my own beliefs. How did I come to believe that? Where is that belief built upon? When I find myself feeling strongly about something, having a conviction about something, I like to check the root of it. Like, is it even rooted in truth? And sometimes it's rooted in a half-truth. That's even more dangerous. Half-truth. That means, wow, it's partially true, but there's some lies mixed in. Dangerous. And then, so the first piece is philosophy, which leads to our attitude, the emotional part. The third piece is the action. Our actions, that's the behavior that we want to change. What we do or neglect to do because of our philosophy and attitude. And then the fourth piece is the result. This is what everybody really wants. Like, give me the results, give me the fruit. And then the fifth piece is the lifestyle. The lifestyle that you live as a result because of the result. You get to create a lifestyle with whatever results that we produce. We get to create a lifestyle. So here are the five pieces. Philosophy, number one, philosophy. Number two, attitude. Number three, activity, actions. Number four, results. And number five, lifestyle. Now, there are two types of each of these. There are disempowering philosophies. And there are empowering philosophies, like negative and positive. So disempowering philosophies, thoughts and beliefs and thoughts, lead to disempowering emotions, which leads to disempowering actions, behaviors, which leads to negative results, which leads to a negative lifestyle. So I'll say that again. So disempowering negative philosophies lead to negative emotions, which leads to negative actions or behaviors, which leads to the negative results, which leads to the negative lifestyle, the life we didn't want or don't want. And in reverse, positive philosophies, empowering philosophies, lead to positive attitudes, which leads to positive actions, which lead to positive results, which leads to the positive lifestyle that we want to live. It's a simple formula, but so loaded with insight. And I could do a seminar for a few hours on this. But in the limited time we have tonight, I want to focus in on people development. And I want to focus in on what to transform before we get to the actions. Notice the actions are in the middle. The behaviors, what we do or don't do, what our team members do or don't do, that's in the middle. So if we try to correct a behavior or an action without going back before that to discover what's at the root of that action or lack thereof, what is this person believing, thinking, and feeling? Please write that down. What is this person believing, thinking, or feeling that is leading to the activity, the action that they're taking, or the inaction? I don't know who this is for, but I just pictured somebody, a parent, and there's a child or a family member or teenager dealing with some behaviors. And oftentimes we try to correct the behavior, but as leaders, it's important that we go beyond the behavior and look at what is the belief, the thought, and the emotion that is causing the behavior. And if we can have a little bit of empathy and pray for wisdom, a little bit of patience, and take the time to empathize and understand what is the belief, the thought, the emotion that is causing this behavior, then we can address the right thing. Some of you all have heard me talk about pulling weeds. One of my first businesses was pulling weeds for my neighbor from his little garden. And I went to pull the weed, and I pulled it from the surface of the weed and thought that I did a job. And he said, well, let me show you how to do it correctly. He said, look carefully. It looks like the weed is gone because you yanked it from the top, but look a little bit more carefully. And when I looked a little more carefully, the root of the weed was still in the soil. So I hadn't pulled the weed out at all. I had only pulled away the surface. The weed was still there. So he taught me that I had to slow down a little bit in order to speed up and dig down deep, a little bit deeper, to get to the root of the weed in order to pull out the weed from its root. And when it comes to developing ourselves and developing others, it's the same process, pulling the weed at its root. The root is the philosophy and the attitude, the belief, thoughts, and emotions. The surface is the activity. I hope this is clicking like it clicked for me. I'm going to open it up for conversation. I want to hear what's landing on everybody, what's your experience and observation about this, and what more importantly, what to do with this information to develop our dream team. Your dream team might be in your family. You got a vision for your family. You got a dream team for your life, So when we get to the root of it, when we take the time to get to the root of it, sometimes we think it's so silly. This is a grown adult. Yeah, the physical body is a grown adult, but even grown adults, we have all kinds of stuff that we've dealt with in our lives. We've got, traumatic experiences we've had painful experiences that we didn't know how to deal with, sometimes from childhood, that still affect us as adults because we never learned how to address them early on. So even though we may be dealing with adults in a physical adult body, that doesn't mean we don't have beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that might be there from when we were 5, from when we were 10 years old. And those beliefs, thoughts, and emotions, fears, concerns, ideas, all kinds of things could be keeping us from dealing with things. Ms. Shalita Reed said, unexposed hurt. Yeah. So when we're developing people for a job or for a task or for a business or for whatever area of life, we've got to understand there's more to their behavior than just what's showing up on the surface or what's not showing up on the surface. And even if you don't plan to be the person to help them directly overcome it, as a leader, Ms. Cullum said unforgiveness. Yeah, that's another one. As a leader, it would behoove us to at least have the right resources for that person, to at least understand the process of development, so we can either give them the resource, recommend the resource, or put them around the right people that can help. Get them the right coach or the right mentor that can help them if you don't plan to be the one to help them directly. And one of the best investments you can ever make in life is investing in people. People are the most appreciable asset on the planet, the most precious assets on the planet. And whether you get a financial return or a productivity return, a leverage return, or just an eternal return, a spiritual return, it's worth developing people directly or indirectly. So what do we do with this information? Some of you already have some like ahas, like, okay, some of you are already doing this. Some of you are like, this is how I can do this on another level. Slow down to speed up, take a couple steps back before the behavior, before we get too frustrated with people, before we just write people off. I gave them a simple assignment to do. You know, one of the simplest things I do to develop a new team member, for example, in my Legal Shield business, is sending out 10 simple little text messages that are not even sales text messages. It just says, hey, would you be willing to give me your feedback on a project I'm working on and let me know who you think I can help? I mean, that's like the easiest thing. It's not even a phone call. It's so easy. You're just saying, hey, you're really saying, look, I don't even need you to buy anything. I don't need you to join anything. I don't even need you to be interested in anything. But would you just take a look at a project I'm working on? Because you're going to encounter people that I can help. Maybe you'd be willing to refer people to me. The easiest thing ever. So maybe you give somebody a simple little assignment. They say, hey, I want to create a great income for my business, or I want to empower people and create residual income. And that's the easiest assignment. Send a simple text message. And there's some people who won't do it. And it's not that they don't want to do it. They want to do it, but for some reason they feel stuck. And to a non-people developer, they would just write that person off. Well, they can't send a simple text message, you know, hey, they must not want it bad enough. Or, you know, whatever the thing is, we can say all kinds of things, but then somebody comes along, the right coach comes along and says, wait a minute, tell me what's going on. What are you thinking and feeling that's keeping you from doing it? What are you experiencing when you think about doing that activity? What is it you're actually experiencing emotionally, mentally? And you'll be surprised what comes out. Just slowing down for a few minutes. What is your self-talk? What are you saying to yourself? What thoughts are popping in your head when you find yourself struggling to do this thing? Let's get it on paper. Let's identify what's the story that's popping up? What is the experience that you're having? And you'll be so surprised. You'll even find out that sometimes people can correct their own behavior. They already know what to do or want to do the thing. They need help getting unstuck with the philosophy and the attitude, the beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that are coming up before the activity, the action. And then if we will listen and empathize and slow down and get to the root of the matter, or connect them with somebody who will assist them with that, the ability to help people break through and transform, that power is in your hands. You have the power to serve on a whole nother level. You have the power to help people pull roots out where they're blind spots. We all have blind spots, right? I seek out good mentors and real friends and workout partners who can help see my blind spot. Even the greatest surgeon in the world can't do surgery on her own back. So we can love people enough to come beside them with permission, with their permission. And don't just judge their actions or inactions, but love them enough to get to the root of the matter and find out what's really going on. Sometimes you'll find out people have been through some things that will blow your mind. Have you ever seen a movie with a villain? It starts off and you don't like that person, their character, their behavior. You're like, wow, what is wrong with this person? And then the movie goes on to reveal their backstory of how they got to be where they are. And then all of a sudden you have empathy for the person with the bad behavior, because you now understand how they got there. If you only knew their story, if you only walked one day in their shoes, you might not be so quick to judge or write them off. And as a people developer, you can change a life. You can build your dream team. You can help people get unstuck and accelerate beyond measure. You might think, I don't have that kind of time to babysit somebody, but hey, sometimes that few extra minutes can accelerate a person beyond imagination. If you only knew how powerful people are, if you only knew the amazing gifts that God has placed inside of people, each and every one of us. And I'm not talking about falling in love with potential and spending all your time where it's not productive. I've had to learn there's a time for me to go and do ministry work, and there's a time for me to build a business. There's a time for me to volunteer and do homeless outreach ministry and pour out into people and to serve and flow in unconditional love. And then there's a time to be productive in business and make things happen. Right? So let's open up this conversation. I want to hear what are you taking away from this? And these 5 keys to developing your dream team. Go ahead and raise your digital hands for me.
Yes,
let's
Coach
start with we'll start with Ms. Michelle Mullins, name, city, state, and what's impacting you, and then we'll come to Mr. Dunlap.
Michelle Mullins, Dayton, Ohio. First of all, Coach, this is really good. I really liked what you said about how we have to develop people. I love helping people, and that's why I became a part of Legal Shield. And plus I believe in the mission that Harlan Stowe-Cypher's mission in protecting and empowering others. The only problem I have is that whenever I try to reach out to my team, most of my team doesn't respond. So I'm having trouble, trying to really reach out to everyone on my team, including getting them to join the Zoom. Maybe one person, out of the whole team participates, but everybody else doesn't. So that's been my problem.
Okay. How many put a 1 in the chat if you can relate to that in some way? I know I can. Thank you for sharing that. And I'll share a couple of things on that. The first thing I'll share is another thing that Jim Rohn shared with me. And I say share with me like, it was a personal conversation, but most of it was audio, listening to him on audio. But I take it personally when I'm listening to my mentors. I don't take that for granted. I don't listen for what I've heard before. I've listened for what did I miss the last time I heard it. I listen for mastery. And one of the things that he said that's so profound, he said, if they can't see the promise, they won't pay the price. And this is valuable no matter anybody, no matter what you do, Legal Shield, nonprofit, ministry, business, life, family, developing our children, right? Which is a challenge in itself. Sometimes we're asking people to do something before we tap into their desire for doing it, their real desire. And that can be challenging because a lot of people don't know what they want. So I've learned as a leader, part of people developing and developing my dream team is finding out what do they really, really, really want. Not the surface level of what they want, but slowing down the speed up. What do they really want? And sometimes what they really want is not in the same direction that I'm going. And that's okay. Because as leaders, we're looking for the people that want to go where we're going, right? So one thing I share for those in network marketing, those building a volunteer army, let's take network marketing. For those in network marketing, be willing to sort through 100+ people fast to find the 3 who are ready to run right now. Be willing to sort through 100+ people fast to find the 3 who are ready to run, not now, but right now. So that means that you're allowing people to be where they are. And for those like me, like Ms. Mullins, that have a huge heart to help people, this is one of my hardest lessons in developing a successful team in network marketing, direct sales, was realizing that sometimes what I thought was helping people was hindering them. I thought waiting for people was helping people. Found out that's not helping them. I thought staying with them long enough, was helping them. And some of the people I stayed with to pour into, I mean, I even gave away customers. I gave away business partners thinking that I was helping my team members. And I found out that wasn't helping them at all. They didn't develop. It was almost like, imagine your personal trainer. You hire a personal trainer to help you build muscle or achieve your fitness and health goals. And when you go to the gym with them, they work out in front of you and expect you to get the muscle. And you're like, wow, man, my trainer got a great workout, but I'm still the same as I was before I got here. That's what I was doing when I was doing things for my team members. I was working out, I was gaining more muscle, and I didn't realize that if I don't get them to put in the work, if I don't get them to inspire them to grow beyond their comfort zone, and they don't find it within themselves, they're not going to be any stronger than they were before I tried to quote unquote help them. I don't know who that was for tonight. And then I discovered when I started going after my dreams. Oh, here's what I was going to say. Here's one of the most painful things. Some of the very people I was slowing down to help, thinking I was helping them, slowing down to invest in, thinking I was investing in them, were saying to me, well, if this is so good, why are you spending all your time with me? Like, why aren't you winning more? Why aren't you succeeding more? And somebody say, ouch. But there was some truth to it. My roommate, Edward Gaba, so grateful. He had a conversation with me one day, and he said, I just want you to know, most of us on the team, we believe in you more than we believe in ourselves. And when we look at some of the goals, like there's a level where you get to like 5,000 to 10,000 a month in Legal Shield called executive director. He said, most of us believe in you more than we believe in ourselves. And when we look at you and we see that you're not even an executive director, we're thinking, how can we ever become an executive director? If Coach can't become executive, and I believe in Coach more than me, and I tell you all 2 weeks later, I went executive director for the first time. I stopped focusing on what I thought was helping people, and I started to go. I was willing to go ahead and lead by example. I was already leading by example, but to go further and faster and inspire my team instead of trying to push my team or drag my team. I went from trying to push them or drag them to going forth and inspiring them and then checking back a little. Inspiring, then check back a little. Inspire and check back a little. It gave me permission to go put my mask on first. Go succeed first. And come back from a place of inspiration. So I hope that helped. Sometimes we got to inspire, just go ahead and inspire. And I used to think that everybody that joined my organization was a part of my team. This is a big one. I used to think everybody who joined my organization was a part of my team. And it helped me to realize that there are multiple groups within my organization. There are the people that are running with me on my core team. Those are the ones I'm running with. And then there's the next level. And then there are people in my organization that are not ready to join the team yet. So if you think of a stadium, a stadium where there's a sport playing, you got your starting liners that are on the A team. You got the next line that might be the B team. You got your backup players that might be the C team. And then you got people on the stands, sitting on the stands or cheering on or in the band or, cheerleaders or whatever. They're not ready to join the team yet, but they're in the stands. And I used to try to make everybody a starting player, and they weren't ready to be a starting player. And when I finally accepted the fact that there are different people at different stages, and I have a place for everybody now, if somebody needs more development, here, I have these resources, I have these events, I have this environment. If somebody has, Mr. Gilbert said, it sounds like family, right? And you can send me a Facebook message. I think that was you that said you wanted to reach me, or Instagram or Facebook message. So in my mind, like I got my A team, my B team, my C team, and my D team. My A team, these are my leaders, my core leaders. They're like, let me start with the D team. The D team, these are people that are not ready to be producers yet. Notice I said yet. They might have joined the organization, but the timing is not right for them. Maybe they're trying to deal with something in life right now. They're not ready to be a contributor to the team, but they enrolled for a reason. Maybe it's the tax benefit. Maybe it's the environment that they like. Maybe they're starting their development process. They're not ready to do productive activities yet, but if they stay in the environment long enough, they'll transform. Their philosophies will shift, their attitude will shift, and then the activities will shift, and then the results will shift, and then the lifestyle kicks in. And everybody has their own timeline. So I used to try to force somebody's timeline to speed up, and that's not my job. So the D team, and then there's the C team. These are my contributors. They might enroll one customer a month, one customer a quarter, and they're happy with that. So who am I to make them feel bad for quote unquote only doing one, right? They're a valuable contributor. In fact, enough people on the C team, there's way more people on the C team than on the B team or the A team. You get enough people on your C team. For example, in our business, with a Legal Shield business, 28 customers a month is all it takes to be an executive. 28 customers buying a $50 package. So if you got 28 people on your C team doing one a month, guess what? That's executive director. You better celebrate those C team members. I love my C team members. And when they're ready to grow into the B team or the A team, guess what? It's ready for them when they're ready. And I've got resources for them to take advantage of at their own pace. Then there's my B team. These are core people. They show up consistently. They contribute consistently. They're in our consistency program. We call it the Performance Club. They might average 4 or 5 customers a month. They're out there part-time, having a good time, living their best life. It's extra income for them. They get to qualify for all expenses paid trips for 2, airfare included, like Jamaica we just came back from, Mexico. That's my B team. These are my core people. And there's less of them than there are C team members. There's less C team. There's always going to be more D team members. The second largest group will be the C team members. The next largest group will be the B team members. And then there's the A team. These are my core leaders. Not only are they core and consistent producers like my B team, but they're developing their own B team and C team and D team as well. So these are like my inner circle. They make things grow with or without me. So understanding that different people are in different places, and also understanding that in order to find more people for my C team, I've got to bring a lot more people into my D team. And in order to find more people for my B team, I have to find more people for my C team. In order for me to find more people for my A team, I have to find more people for my B team. So it's this funnel of bringing in more people, growing the D team that leads to more C, B, and A team members as well. So I don't know who that was for, but I know that changed my world when I started thinking that way. And it allowed me to put the right people in the right place, or just identify where a person is and let them be where they are, have resources for them to go to the next level, but for me to be the type of leader that I want to attract. Because in order to attract more A-team people, I have to be an A-team person or connect them with another A-team person fast. In order to attract more people onto my B team, I have to be exemplifying the qualities of a B team member. So I hope that helped, Ms. Mullins. That helped me so much in so many different ways. Mr. Dunlap, are you still there?
Yes, sir. Coach Bear, Coach Bear, I'm gonna say something about you. A lot of times, I think about you. A lot of people, I believe, think about you. We don't know that they're thinking about you. I see you in a different light. It's like a baseball. Let's say like on a baseball, first, second, third, and home plate. I see you as having love. I see you as having love at every plate. If a person gets a base hit, if a baseball team gets enough base hits, they can win the game by getting base hits. And I just see you as love at each base. And sometimes in life, even at the hospital, you got patients there that are laying in the bed. And sometimes you have to, a doctor or the hospital get them well so that they can go out and go back to work and can go back out to help other people. Now, you mentioned something that something else that you had mentioned, that you need all kind of people. And before I went to the hospital to visit someone, I looked in there, I said, you got the doctors in here, but you got nurses, you got the maintenance people, you got people that's just mopping the floors, you got people in there that's cooking meals, you got all types of people. But I'm gonna say this here, Coach Faubert, I don't want to hog up all the time, but what you're doing, you are being you. And when people look at you, when I heard a man speaking before in the Bible said, the corn, I heard Minister Farrakhan say before that the corn is in the fish's mouth. But sometimes we want to get the corn. We're trying to get the corn before we get the fish. But if we get the fish, then we got the corn. So I understand that what you're saying, that you want to run with your A team, your B team, your C team, your D team. But I'm just going to encourage you that what you're doing, something that you said before. You said one time I was trying to do this and not connecting God with it. I was trying to just put this over here and put this over there. But when you put it all together right there, like you said, when you're talking to people, there was a lady I put on the phone about 2 months ago. She was going through something and some heavy stuff. I said, you need to get on this. I got this call that I think you need to get on Monday night. She didn't need to hear nothing about a 30-minute Zoom presentation. She needed that was on that Monday night. And she told me, told me back, said, I really do appreciate that, because that's what I really needed. And I'm gonna let you go on this here. Sometimes you got to know what kind of medicine that person need. Different people need different medicine. And I just want to just say that uh you doing a you're doing a good job. But when I see you, I see Coach Bell as the executive director. I see Coach Bell as the one that's work with the A team. But I see Coach Bell as one that's going forward. But he always had one hand back as he going forward. Always had one hand back as he going forward. And I'll leave it at that.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate those words of encouragement. And that is what a lot of people need. And as you're talking, the scripture that's coming to my mind is that the harvest truly is plentiful, but the laborers are few. So we need more people that as we lead, that we do put a hand back for those that are ready, and that we have resources and environments for people that may not be ready yet, but we don't write them off. You know, we love on them. And sometimes, like Mr. Dunlap just said, sometimes it's not about business. Sometimes it's not about the goals. Sometimes we got to push pause on the goals, push pause on the business plan, and remember we're dealing with people, real people with real situations, sometimes situations we don't know anything about. And if we really knew what people were dealing with, we might even be impressed whether they're performing well or not. So appreciate those words. Let me check. Who is next with the digital hand up? Go ahead and unmute. I think I saw Ms. Fitzgerald.
Yeah, you answered the questions. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's like how much time you give a person. I mean, when it's time to say, all right, turn around and just do what I gotta do, and hopefully you catch up. Or do you go back after a while? Like give them a few months and then touch base again. That's the only problem that I have. You know, is when to go back, when to reach out again. So I'm working on babysitting.
And would you come up? And would you come up with?
I would send like little notes, texts. Oh, just checking on you, see how you're doing, you know, and see how they respond or if they respond. So if they don't respond, I give it a few more weeks and then I'll follow up again with another text until they respond, and then take it from there.
Yeah, that's good. And it's such a delicate balance, and everybody's got to find their own balance. But one thing, especially if you're in network marketing, is to remember to lead by example, find the people that are ready now, and love everybody else who's not, and have a place for them, have resources for them. Like you said, check back in. But you got to decide what percentage of your focus is going to be in checking back and what percentage in leading by example. But I had to remind myself, as a giver, as a person that loves people, that the best thing I can do for people is to be an inspiration. To be an inspiration. I'm talking about in business right now. In business, right? I was trying to turn my business into a charity at one point. And I love how my friend and mentor Darnell Self says, he said, I have a lot of nonprofits, but my Legal Shield business is not one of them. It's not one of them. So don't turn your for-profit into a nonprofit, and have a place and a time where you're serving and you're loving on people and reaching out, but know how to, it's a balancing act. It's easier said than done, but lead by example, go out there. There are people who are ready now, and then there are people who are ready later. Spend the majority of your time in business finding the people who are ready now. That's my best tip on that. Mehdi.
Great evening, Coach. You know, the only thing I believe I'm born and raised in poverty mindset country. We had oil, we had natural gas, we export all things, but the people was living on the poverty, and I'm saying help who deserve to receive the help from you, who give more than they want to take. And I believe, especially in capitalist country like here is country of the giving, based on the Think and Grow Rich again, that the employer gonna give first. They give, you give the job, you give the work, look like legal shield, right? They trust you. They pay you 12 months in advance. They used to pay 36 months in advance, if you remember, back in 2004 with 249, and we were so successful, and the ratio was high. Without technology, people were making $1 million a year, like Mr. Savola. Talking about right now, people live with a poverty mindset. They don't work with the richest mindset. Talking about that's the message. Sun Cipher start with, from being a teacher to become a billionaire. We have to live. We don't have to give for nothing. When your team win $100 in advance, they need to give out more because you were coaching them, company coaching them. We give them enough. Leadership is all about, giving to the people who deserve. And we need to teach them how to give, duplicate. That's the only thing we can have a strong foundation. Thank you for allowing me to share. Peace.
Thank you for sharing. It's powerful, developing that abundance mindset and transforming. Again, it goes back to the philosophies, the attitudes that lead to the activity. Because you can do the exact same activity. One person can do the exact same activity and have a scarcity mentality. And another person can do the exact same activity with an abundance mentality, and they get two different results from the same activity. And that's why it's important that we constantly have the right ideas. Ideas are like seeds being planted in the garden of the soil of our mind. Ideas are like seeds being planted in the soil of our mind. And as we're developing people and we're sharing with them the ideas, the philosophies, the beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that will empower them to do the activities that will produce the right result. Here's one other thing to remember. Some people have rocks and stones covering up the soil. And before those seeds can even take root, they've got to be in an environment of people with a jackhammer that are constantly chipping away at the rocks and chipping away at the stones that are blocking. And once those stones and rocks get broken down and move away from the soil, all of a sudden, all those seeds that have been planted, all those months, all those years, can start to finally take root in the soil. And that's what people developers get to do. We get to bring the jackhammer and constantly chisel away at the disempowering beliefs, thoughts, and emotions that keep people trapped, that keep people stuck. We get to sweep away the debris. We get to cultivate the soil where we can pull the weeds and break up the hard ground that life has dealt people. And then we get to see the seeds get watered. And all of a sudden start to take root. And even soil that's been around a long time and hasn't borne any fruit, with the right people developer, the right cultivation, long enough, that same old ground can produce new fruit. So don't give up on people. I'm not saying slow down and wait for people. I am saying slow down from time to time to love on people, to put them in the right environment that can help transform their lives. Give them the right resources to help break up the ground. Help them develop the awareness. Love on them, believe in them, inspire them, but have resources in places. And sometimes some of your best results, your best dream team members will come from people that other people wrote off. Any final takeaways? Give us quick 10, 15 seconds. What did you take away and what are you going to implement? I'd like to hear from you all. What did you take away the most and what are you going to implement this week? Give us a quick 10 to 30 seconds. Name, city, and state. Biggest takeaway and what are you going to implement this week?
I'll go. I think I need more patience. Although I do check in, but it's like I'm forcing myself to check in. I think I need more patience with people, and I'm going to try to be more patient and just keep it, keep moving forward and, have my hand back.
And have the hand back. That was so good, Mr. Dunlap. Thank you, Ms. Fitzgerald. Show us some love in the chat. Ms. Darling.
Sorry, I don't have my video on. It's because I'm driving. Y'all wouldn't be able to see me anyway. But the whole time y'all were talking and everybody was sharing, and I want to thank everybody that shared, and you, Coach Bill. I feel like I have grown so much since I've been attending these Monday night meetings. And the whole time everybody was sharing, and even in your last note, I kind of look at Legal Shield now as like my Iron Man suit.
Your Iron Man suit?
Yeah, my Iron Man suit. So, I have this big heart and I love people and I'm always wanting to help people. And about 20 years ago, one of my dearest friends got her psychology major and she just was on top of the world and just killing it, boss babe type thing. And she told me, Jeanette, I did not ask for your help. And I was like, oh, what? Like, why? Don't you know what a great friend I am? We've been friends forever, yada, yada. And so it was like I was always seeing other people in their Iron Man suit, but I never saw myself in mine. And being nurtured through all of the amazing leadership and practically daily, connections with Alex and all of you guys as leaders, but that personal connection with my mentor, Alex Shahid, and just everybody in the family and learning from everybody and connecting and sharing all of that, I now can see myself in my own Iron Man suit. And I don't think that it's, I don't think that it's ironic that now my team is starting to grow. I have a senior manager on my team now. She's going to be a senior associate. She's going to be a manager tomorrow, and I'm just so proud of her, and now I'm like, ooh, now we can fly around in our Iron Man suits together, And so anyway, thank you. That was all I wanted to say. I could probably go into it a whole lot more, but I think y'all get the gist of it. When you first put that suit on, you don't really know the power of it. And then you get into it and you start feeling it and you start working it and you start playing with it. And then you find your way into it and it becomes a part of you.
I love that analogy. Show some love to Ms. Darling in the chat, everybody. All right. Mr. Herring, name, city, state. What's your biggest impact, and what are you going to implement this week?
Hank Herring from Beaufort, South Carolina. When you explained about the ABCD team, it made me really understand about the pipeline. And so I've been hearing that all week, and it finally made full sense to me with that. Being able to go through 100 to get to the 3. And where I've been trying, like you said, been trying to pull the 1 or 2 along, that's not it. Just going to run right through until I get to 3. So that is what I'm implementing this week. I am going to just go through my list. Just go through the list.
I see it in your face and hear it in your voice. The transformation. You seem so much lighter. Like, it's less,
really
less of a burden. I love it. Show some love in the chat for Mr. Herring. I can hear Jim Rohn saying, you can inspire thousands, but you can't carry 3 on your back. He said, maybe if you're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, maybe you can carry 2 or 3. Maybe you can carry 2, but you can't carry 3. You can't carry people to success, but you can lead the way, and you can inspire thousands. So good, so good. All right, Ms. Brown, name, city, state, biggest impact, and what are you going to implement this week?
Renee Brown, Clinton, South Carolina. The biggest takeaway for me was that I realized that I actually been implementing a lot of this stuff, and but I do have to slow down the B junction, slow down my little train, and go back around and ask more detailed questions. I would ask questions, but I did not really. I would ask the first question, and then that would be it. So I know I have to go back and implement 2 or 3 more questions, and then circle back around my train and see, all aboard. Got to keep the train going, but keep going back and steady, asking those questions again. So I will implement that. But it's my biggest takeaway is that I've been doing this stuff, and just for you to say it at this time, just keep doing what I'm doing. Just keep doing it.
So good. Sometimes you don't even realize how well you're implementing, right? That's so good. Congrats in advance. Show some love to Ms. Brown in the chat. And I love that train image, the imagery you just painted. That's a great visual. The train has to keep moving. Yeah. But there's a certain time when the train stops and they check on the passengers.
That's why this company is called B Junction.
I love it. That's your company?
Yes.
I love that. I love that, Ms. Brown.
The train keeps going. I say all aboard.
I love it.
I check at the stops. Yeah.
That's a great way to answer that question. Yeah. What does that look like? It's like your train has to keep moving. And as I picture my journey, I'm going to probably put this in my next book, but I call it the rhythm of success. Success is a rhythm. There's a few things. When I look at successful people, I study multimillionaires and billionaires. I've met 6+ billionaires. When I study every successful person in any arena, even ministry, there's a few things they do daily, a few things they do weekly, a few things they do monthly, a few things they do quarterly. And they stay in that rhythm of success, that rhythm. And as I'm thinking of that rhythm, I'm hearing that train, chicka, 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 chicka. And in my legal shield business, daily, all I do is my 30 minutes a day of leadership development. I add 2 to 5 people to my list. I invite 2 to 5 people to look at some information per day. Simple. Easy to do, easy not to do. Weekly, I show up to my weekly networking dinner. I show up to my weekly training call, and I show up for my accountability call, with my workout partners, my mastermind. Simple, easy to do, easy not to do. Once a month, I show up at a Super Saturday development event. I take goal inventory, easy to do, easy not to do. Once a quarter, I show up to a big event and I bring as many people back as I possibly can so they can get into the most transformational environment available once about every 90 days. But as you said, that train analogy, I saw that when I go to a Super Saturday, that's when my train stops. And I check on everybody there in groups. When I go to the big event, my train is at a stop for the weekend, and I'm checking in and sitting down with everybody I can on my team to check on them. You know, my weekly event, my train stops for a couple of hours, and I'm checking on everybody at my weekly local event, on my weekly team Zoom. And aside from that, I'm running. I'm leading, but the train is moving. I can't stop while the train is moving. Hey, meet me at the next event. And then the train stops. We'll sit down and talk. Meet me at the next Super Saturday. Meet me on the Sunday night call at that stop. The train will stop then. Right now, I'm driving the train. I cannot slow down. I'm leading by example, right? Ah, so good. Show some love for Ms. Brown in the chat, everybody. All right, one or two more. Last one or two. What's your biggest takeaway? What are you going to implement? If you didn't unmute, put it in the chat. What's your biggest takeaway, and what are you going to implement this week? Because you can listen, but the real learning happens not by hearing. The real learning happens once you do it, you apply it, you practice it. Practice it badly. Implementation is where it's at. That's where the real transformation takes place. The real compensation takes place after the implementation. And it goes back to those 5 pieces. The philosophy leads to the attitude, which leads to the activity. And then that leads to the results, which produce the raw materials for the lifestyle that we want to design. Ms. Reed, name, city, state, biggest takeaway, and what you're going to implement this week.
Shalita Reed, Merced, California. It just, I don't know why I actually got onto this call, but something said you need to get on and listen in and see what information you can get that may help you in your development. And so I'm glad I did, because it also gave me a self-assessment module, because for a long time, when we have our meetings, you know, I want to be at a level in the business, but I also know that there's a process. And so when you gave us that ABCD example, it just really made me look at myself in a different way, because maybe this is the season where I'm a C. Sorry.
On the C team?
Yeah. This is a season where I'm on the C team, where, you know, you mentioned not at that core level, but developing to get to that core level. But it was, for me, it was an eye-opener. Like, you really need to look at yourself and see where you are in the business. And it's okay if you're not in that core level right now. You're developing your business, because I don't come from background of sales and marketing. This is a whole new adventure for me. And so I really don't have the slightest idea, other than the trainings that we've had, of really authentically what I'm supposed to do. But I'm the type of person that I don't give up. I go and I seek to find understanding for myself. I don't wait on people to give it to me. I go and find it out on my own. And so I'm just grateful for this call, because, like I said, a lot of good tips, a lot of good information for me to apply to my development in my business. And I just know that there will be a season where I will be able to see the harvest that I've planted. And being on our amazing team, I know that there's so much more for me in it. And so I'm just grateful for this call and for each and every one of you. Just know that we all have, stop. We all have growing and development to do. Wave at him, Tracy. And so, yeah, just grateful for this call, and I'll probably be back because I might need to get a little bit more information. This might be my development grounds versus just jumping into the business. I need to go through the process because unfortunately I didn't even think about that. I just said, oh, get on the team, do this, do that, get people into the business, recruit people. But what about the foundation of being a Legal Shield? I mean, I didn't even think of that. And so I'm just grateful to be here because this is a part of developing my foundation. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. So powerful. And I'm so excited for your future. You do have a harvest coming because you're cultivating yourself. And this is not a Legal Shield call. This is just my this is Monday night mentoring through my nonprofit BornCEO Leadership Academy. Some of you are in Legal Shield, some of you are in ministries, some of you are in the arts, some of you are in corporate America, some of you are building a family, some of you are in nonprofits, some of you, people from every background and every walk of life are welcome, that just are on a mission to claim your freedom, live your purpose, and achieve your goals and dreams. And so we'll take one last one. Ms. Chantel Gant, name, city, state, biggest impact, and what you're going to implement this week.
Yes, hello. My name is Chantel Gant. I'm in the Bay Area, California, or Pittsburgh, California. And the biggest impact that I took away was what you said at that last point right there when you said, I stopped 1 or 2 times and check on people, but I'm running, like focused on running. And that was not to say I haven't heard it, but I needed to be retracted back to that, right? Because I keep stopping. Oh, this person needs extra attention. Keep running and then set an appointment to meet up with those people. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And what I'm going to implement is just that. I have people that are doing Fast Start, which you know what that is. Everybody may not know what that is, but those people that are in Fast Start, I'm going to run with them for, because they need attention to get to their Fast Start. But other than that, those other people, I'm running and I'll check back with you. I'm running and I'll check back with you. So I'm loving it. That's what I'm going to implement. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Show some love, everybody in the chat for Ms. Gant and everybody else who put in the chat. Listen, we're all born CEOs. We're all building the dream that we've been given, the vision that we've been given, and every dream has a dream team. So let's go out there and take our own self-development to another level, being as patient and loving and empathetic with ourselves as we need to be with others, and understanding that we too have gone through some things, and sometimes we don't slow down enough to give ourselves grace for, and sometimes we've got some things in our beliefs, our thoughts, and our emotions that may be keeping us from doing certain activities. So let's slow down the speed up. If we need coaching, get the coaching. If we need mentorship, invest in the mentorship. If we need therapy, invest the time in the therapy. If we need workout partners, we need a circle around us. Whatever you need, surround yourself with it for your own people development and inspire others to do the same as we go out there and develop our people for our dream team. Love you all. Have a great week. By the way, moving forward, we have something called the BornCEO Vault. Some of you are already subscribers of the BornCEO Vault. Some of you are in my network marketing mentoring, but we're about to take the BornCEO Vault to another level where it's not just for network marketing resources and coaching, but we're going to start having mentoring replays like this available to all of the subscribers to the Born CEO Vault. It's $20 a month. So anybody who's interested in having access to all the replays and mentoring calls like this, and you would like to learn more about that, shoot me a message, reply to an email, reach out to me on social media. But as we build up, any of the proceeds that are generated, part of that is going towards being able to do things like this for free and being able to pour into people and make a huge difference. And so let's go out there and change lives. Let's go implement, and come back next week and share your growth with the tribe. Bring back that positive energy, that spirit, that growth, and bring back somebody new next week. Love you all. Have a great week.
Thank you, Coach. Great call, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.